Hello and welcome to Stretford, Paddock. My name is Joe and we are here at Old Trafford this morning. Now the weather may be horrendous, and it is horrendous, but nothing is going to dampen my mood this morning. Manchester United, 3 wins in a row. We've got loads to talk about, other teams losing, reflections on the game from the players, from the managers. We've got a couple of transfer stories as well. Absolutely loads to get into today. Let's get into it. Right then, welcome to the news. Like I said before, the weather here at Old Trafford is actually disgusting. It's windy, it's rainy, it's cold, the mic has stopped working, but none of that matters because we've got some good news to talk about today. 3 wins in a row. Manchester United actually seem to be on the up and up for the first time in quite some time. We're going to get into all that, but before that we're going to look at some other teams, because for the first time since 2016, Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City have all lost in the same week in the Premier League, which is fantastic news for us. We're above Liverpool in the Premier League, same points as Man City, only behind them on goal difference, and ahead of Chelsea as well. It's been a very, very good week for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim was speaking after the game, talking about how United always have to make it difficult for ourselves, but also talking about the fact that we are starting to see some improvements. He talked about the sound when those goals went in as well at Manchester United, like he'd never heard anything like it before. It's just a really good time at the moment for Manchester United, and it's the first time in a long time, because let's not forget, Ten Hag's second season was really bad. I know we finished 8th, which by last season's metrics isn't that bad, but realistically it is, and we played really poorly that season. So it's not just the first time since Amorim got here that things have looked pretty good. It's the first time in almost, well, basically 2 and a bit years since things have been good. That's why this feels, and it's only 3 wins, but that's why 3 wins I think feels so much better, because it's not just a bit, it's been a little bit since we started winning. It's been over 2 years since we looked like a proper team, and that's what we saw, I think, in this game against Brighton, was a proper team. And what we've seen in this little run, it's a proper team with proper tactics, and they're executing it properly. We've got quality in the final third. Brandon Burmo spoke after the game about how he wants to keep improving and how Manchester United are improving. Cunha himself spoke. He said, finally, I've got the goal that I've wanted all this time after scoring his first goal against Brighton. It's just a good time at the moment. Obviously, in other news, Manchester City lost to Aston Villa. In that game, by the way, Jadon Sancho, who is still a Manchester United player, came on as a first half sub and then got subbed off in the round of subs in the second half. I think he played about 45-50 minutes in that one. Not looking good for Jadon Sancho at the moment, barely getting any minutes for Aston Villa. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I mean, the one good thing about this whole Sancho scenario is his contract runs out at the end of this year, so we're not going to get any money for him, but at least we don't have to do this again in the summer. We don't have to hear about his loans, we don't have to hear whatever else is going on off the pitch, whether you believe that or not. The time at Manchester United is done. You stay at Aston Villa, play a few minutes, play loads of minutes, I don't care, but he's going to be leaving at the end of the season, and I think that is obviously just a good thing for Manchester United. The fewer players in the dressing room and at the club where you look at them and go, why did we do that deal and why hasn't it worked out? The fewer of those you can have, the better. I was reading an article in The Athletic from Anka, go and check it out, talking about how we're actually starting to see these transfers working out. We've got good players, and Burmo, Cunha, Lomans is another one, Sesko, all of them look like proper players at Manchester United at the moment, and that's the thing that Ruben Amorim needs to do now, is encourage this team and make this team push on and keep winning games. I know he can't make them do things, he can't put the ball in the back of the net, but I think what we've got now for the first time in, like I said, over 2 years is a little bit of momentum. And that's such a massive thing when it comes to Premier League football, especially when you look at this season. So many teams are struggling. So many teams aren't able to win games consistently. I mean, Tottenham are very good away from home but struggling at home. Man City are up and down. Liverpool are just down and down at the moment. It's basically only Arsenal and Sunderland, unless we're playing them, that are winning week in, week out. This weather is absolutely absurd. This is absurd weather. But again, my jeans are soaking wet, my jacket's wet. Who cares? This is beautiful. This is the home of Manchester United. And I don't care what the weather's like and what technology is breaking. Producer Ben is laughing as the camera lens is getting soaking wet. He's getting battered by the umbrella. But honestly, none of it matters. In other news, Man United reportedly turned down a move for Robert Lewandowski in the summer. I don't know if he was available, whether that was something that he wanted to do, but I'm so glad if it's true, it's probably not even true, but if it is true, then I'm glad that we did that, because I don't think that that's the sort of move that United should be doing anymore. It's the sort of thing that we did during those sort of interim years, wasn't it? It's the Cavani's, it's the Ibrahimoviches, it's the Ronaldos. They can be good. They come in for a season, they show that quality that we'd been missing. They go, oh yeah, I can see why this guy's got 550 career goals. But 1 year later, you need to replace him. 2 years later, at a push, you need to replace him. And that's not what United need to be doing at the moment. United need a settled team that can build together for the next 2 or 3 years. Another name I want to call out as well, while we're just sort of talking about all the great things in the world while this weather is disgraceful, Casemiro. Again, I'll put the link to the article in the description. It's another article from The Athletic, and Anka again was mentioning this, talking about how Manchester United have performed with Casemiro on and off the pitch. Of the 16 goals we have conceded this season, only 3 of them were conceded with Casemiro on the pitch. The other 13 were when he wasn't playing. And a lot of those were like, he'll play the first 60 minutes, we don't concede. He gets subbed off, we concede to. Much like what happened against Brighton. And he's someone, Casemiro, that I think, again, obviously he's 33 years old. He's not going to be here in 4 or 5 years' time. He's just not. He probably won't even be here in 2 or 3 years' time. But I think we should look at what he's doing right now and see that he's playing very, very well. Defensively, he's covering well. I think, do you know, these centre-backs pushing into midfield, Luke Shaw, De Ligt, we saw it a lot in that game against Brighton, where they track their men back into midfield. Basically, they act as an extra defensive midfielder. And that means that Casemiro isn't being exposed as much. When's the last time you saw him with 20-yard circle round him with no United players in it trying to defend the whole middle of the pitch by himself? We used to see that all the time last season. We used to see that all the time in Ten Hag's second season. Do you remember, leave the football before the football leaves you? We're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing a functional, impressive Casemiro, and maybe the legs aren't there to last a full 90 minutes at top speed, but we're seeing him play very well week in, week out. This is genuinely absurd. This is absurd. How long have we done, producer Ben? So yeah, I think Casemiro is just someone that we need to look at and actually realise we're still maybe living in the sort of mentality of what he was 2 years ago, when he was being exposed in the middle of the pitch, when everyone was calling him out, when he wasn't playing so well. You can improve into your mid-30s. He's a better player now than he was then, but he suits the system better, and he's in better form than he was then. That can happen. It's not just constantly downhill after you hit 30. Yeah, his legs aren't going to get any better, he's not going to get any faster, his stamina probably won't get any better. But what can happen is you find a way to fit yourself in the system. And I think it's really impressive the way he's done that. And I think you have to give him credit because, we can go through the whole team and give people credit. But he's someone that a lot of people, myself included, kind of thought he was done. Kind of thought that his time at Manchester United was up. And I think that little partnership with Bruno Fernandes, it's not perfect. It's going to need to be upgraded on at the end of the season. But I think we can move away from this thing of it's this utter disaster that, the sooner we get rid of them both, the better. I personally don't agree with that. I think we've got a very functional midfield there. If we can bring in a little reinforcement, maybe on loan in January, that would be great. But if not, and they can stay fit and not suspended in Casemiro's case, I think we've got ourselves a really, really good midfield. That is going to be all from me this morning. We're going to be back this afternoon with the Paddock podcast, really dive into what has happened over this weekend, why it was such a good weekend for Manchester United. Like I said, my fingers are freezing. I'm absolutely soaking. Producer Ben is getting absolutely battered. But it's a fantastic day to be a Manchester United fan. Up to 6th in the Premier League over the weekend. We're even 4th for a night. We were 4th for a night. That's what it is. I mean, yes, people say, the standards at Man United are in the mud. We're celebrating being 4th. Yeah, I am. I'm going to. We were 15th last season. I'm going to take every single step of joy I can on the way back up to whenever we next win a Premier League title. I'm going to enjoy it. So there you go. That's going to be all from me this morning from a wonderful Old Trafford. We'll see you in a bit.